I'm realizing that I'm standing between you and the coffee break. So please, after 2 hours and very interesting presentations, take a moment of health and safety and check on your neighbor for a moment to see that we are all okay, and we'll proceed with caution. First, a word from our sponsors. I come from RegLab. We meet, we learn, we do. It's a member-owned organization, and the focus is on regional development. So we are owned by all 21 regions in Sweden and 3 other agencies, 2 national agencies, and then the Organization for Local and Regional Authorities in Sweden. So what is RegLab? We have stolen the idea from Denmark, and I implore you to steal it from us, steal it with pride. This is the 10th step of Lisbeth's presentation. We share regional development knowledge with each other. So if you find it interesting, please contact us and we'll help you to set up a RegLab of your own. The lab part is learning, analysis, and benchmarking. So to put it simple, we are in a state of transition. We are trying to leave the 21 regions behind and to form 7, 8, maybe 9 regions. This process has been going on for 10 years, so I'm not quite sure where we stand. Maybe in 10 years' time I could tell you the result, but I have my doubts. So what do we offer? RegLab offers joint learning projects. So the regions, and especially the divisions responsible for regional development, they come together to share experiences and to share knowledge, mistakes, good examples, bad examples. We are about learning. I'm going through this a bit faster than I was thinking because of the time constraint, but I hope you are following my lead. So we use a participatory means of learning in order for the regions to be able to go jointly towards the future and develop tools to implement regional development policy, to implement European cohesive policy, and so on, because it's not self-evident that all our planning and strategies will just transform into reality by themselves. So these are some of the activities we offer. It's a very low-cost operation. Each member of our organization pays according to size, but has 1 vote. The activities we offer are covered by fees, and this is not to bring in more money, but to ensure that the activities we offer are actually the activities the regions need and ask for. So by putting them as self-financed, we ensure that they are relevant. The whole budget is about 500,000 euros, and that's not so much if you consider that a lot of the activities we do could be done by consultants, at the individual region, making the cost and the budget 20 times higher than it is. We reach, with our activities, several hundred individuals, all working with regional development in Sweden. So our specialty are some principles of learning. We share. We do everything horizontally. That means that the people active in our seminars and workshops, we use the competence that they bring. If, by any chance, the competence is not in the room, we bring in researchers or consultants that have this additional competence. But our mode of operation is that most of the knowledge is already in the room, and we try to tap into that and to share it. So we're building up communities of practice. For those who know what that is, it's based on trust, participation, networks, and spreading and sharing of knowledge. What we don't do is lobbying. We don't lobby for the regions, and we don't do any posing. I know some of the regions still see each other as competitors on some sort of a global market, And when we use a region as a host, they are not allowed to sort of promote themselves in any way or try to do some grandstanding, opening the ceremony by saying, we are good at this or that. We just share knowledge and learn from each other. And then we co-produce technocratic tools for the benefit of all. So what has that to do with this topic? Well, we did a joint learning session on smart specialization, which included social innovation as well. So most of our members participated, and the topics, they ranged from measuring effects of and incorporating social innovations to attractivity and other stuff. Smart specialization was very difficult to capture, and being one of the sort of members that feel like Sweden feels that they always have to sort of follow the lead of the EU and be one of the best implementers of whatever strategy Brussels comes up with. Of course, they try to do this on a regional level as well and incorporate social innovation into the smart specialization strategies. Well, it didn't go so well, but we found out some things from this joint exercise. The regions have a different role in Sweden than in many other countries, but they're very good at one thing, and they do regional analysis quite well. And there's quite a good process already established by involving local and regional actors into the planning and analysis process. So this is nothing new. That's why Sweden doesn't have too much trouble sort of embracing the smart specialization process, because it sort of resembles what we were already doing. But with different words, so you have to rework all the documents and send in some new ones to national government and to Brussels. But it's still not such a painful process as it could have been. To my disappointment and to your disappointment today, we found that no member has really incorporated social innovation in a very productive way into the smart specialization strategy in a real manner, so to speak. Maybe also we have a high bar that we want to pass, but I would say that there are two regions that stand out, and that's Västra Götaland, which is West Sweden, with Gothenburg as the driving engine, very highly industrialized region with Saab, Volvo, or what is left of them, and other great industries traditionally. And then is Skåne, Scania region in the south, bordering to Copenhagen, with Malmo as the sort of driving engine. Very agrarian, rural and agrarian, and more into, I don't know, biotech and so on. They're the only two real regions we have managed to build during this 10 years process of reconstituting our state. They're both experiments from the beginning, so they're 10 years old, and they are now have been permanented. They have more than 1 million inhabitants, as our new regions should have, almost 2 in the case of Västra Götaland. They have a coordinating, incorporating role, and they have the responsibility of regional development, which is otherwise actually a national policy instrument. And you can see they're taking on a new and different role compared to traditional regions in Sweden. They are intermediaries, not only between the local and the regional level, but also between the local and the national level, and between the local and the international level. So both of them have representation in Brussels, and they are now also opening offices in places like Shanghai or various areas of the world. So there's an increasing tendency towards internationalization, and of course, it also involves the area of social innovation, which I will show right now. So when it comes to social innovation, West Sweden adopted its program in 2004, which was quite early. It set up a council. This is a very Swedish way of dealing with new areas. You set up a group which can have meetings, and you sort of try to bring in representation not only from the public administration, but also from the civil society itself. It nowadays has 4 sub-regional networks and councils, committees, much like I understand the Basque country has 3 provinces. These are not provinces in such, but they are sort of sub-regional administrative units that are there for functional reasons. So they also have 4 subcommittees, which involve the civil society in each subcommittee. This council tries to coordinate other branches of public administration. So when the region develops some sort of strategy for regional development in whatever area, or attractivity, or infrastructure, or healthcare, they try to involve the social innovation aspect into that. So it's a sort of committee responsible for the question being spread into the rest of the administration and making the other actors aware of this issue. They're also active internationally in, for example, SOCAP and REVS, which is EU bodies of some sort of different regions which have come together to sort of develop the area and share experiences within social innovation. They try also to bring in analysis of the size of social innovation, much like what we'll hear later in the afternoon, try to capture it by measuring it and to present facts of its use and so on to policymakers. There are also projects financed and supported by this committee. They did have a 10,000 euro grant that you could apply for as a social entrepreneur or social innovation group, which has resulted in quite a few setups and activities that would have otherwise not happened, probably. Region Skåne has attacked this issue in a rather different manner. They see themselves as primarily a facilitator and coordinator of the issue. They are lucky enough to have the National Center for Social Innovation, the Forum for Social Innovation, situated in Malmo, which is the regional capital, just a few hundred meters from the regional building. So the National Center of Competence in Social Innovation Issues is situated in Malmo. And after a period of 3 years financing by the national government, the regional government has now taken over the financing of this institution. It's co-organized by the University of Malmo. You have the Center for Public Entrepreneurship. You have the local community college, local folkhögskolan it's called, Lokala. You have the social economic network in the region, which is also so. What Skåne has done is that it has produced, over the 3-4 years that they have had to deal with this issue, some institutions have mushroomed and grown into a small cluster of actors and persons who are very interested in this area of social innovation. Organizationally, the support from the region is under the entrepreneurship and business development side. There's also an agreement between the region and the civil society on how to promote social innovation. Yeah. So we come to the analysis of this very fast presentation. Both regions have committed themselves to the third sector through formal cooperation agreements, that social innovation and entrepreneurship should take sort of front seat in all processes. Whether it's true or not remains to be seen. In Skåne, in the south of Sweden, you have more very outward-going clustering of social innovation knowledge. They're very active. Just a few weeks ago, they were here in the Basque country to form formal alliances with the many actors here and within the social economy, which we all find very interesting and look up to as a good example of how a region can use the force within the social economy to promote growth and cohesion. While West Sweden has taken a more financing approach and supporting and committee approach, trying to influence the rest of the public administration and some of the actors in the already existing third sector to promote social innovation. So they both have identified the third sector as a very important tool to promote growth and attractivity and smart, inclusive growth. A bit like two different students in a classroom. I don't know if you remember school. There was one outward going, very active student, participating in everything, always raising their hand, answering questions and so on. And then there was the more quiet student, more inbound student. I'm not sure that Skåne, which is more outward bound, is better than Västra Götaland. It's just more visible what they're doing, and they're more active on the international scene, I would say. But I'm not sure that it's a more productive way of dealing with it. I think we have to wait for the empirical data to show that. But I'm just saying that there are two very different ways to approaching this area. But they share some similar traits. And this is very typical for our comprehensive welfare state. There's a danger of over-organizing this area. And we all have to think about, and especially also the previous speakers, we have to really consider the danger of trying to co-opting this area too much into our systems. Sometimes we can also be more successful and fertile, to produce a fertile ground, but to back down and to give more room for social entrepreneurs and innovators to act in spite of our best wishes and willings. So, like any citizen or parent or teacher or co-worker, there's a fine balance between supporting and actually overtaking the sort of initiatives and denying the people we are trying to help and to support the agency of their own actions and the possibility of empowerment and growth. I put some useful links in the presentation. I hope you'll have it on the web page so that you can follow up. These pages are in English. We don't translate to Spanish or Basque yet, but they should be of some use to you. And if there are any more questions around RegLab and how to set up a joint learning and participatory approach to regional development, please feel free to contact us. We are available and still with pride and just share it. Thank you.